Hello everyone, my name is Suhail Ahtesham. I am Assistant Professor in Management Studies. Welcome to my 21st lecture on the subject Management Process and Organizational Behavior. In today's lecture, we will be discussing on the topic Organization Structure, the meaning, types, principle of organization with diagram of organizational structure. Let's start with the topic in detail. What is organizational structure? Coming towards the meaning, an organization structure denotes the authority and responsibility relationship between the various positions in the organization by showing who reports to whom. So, organization structure is a systematic body who represent the authority, responsibility and accountability relationship in a formal organization. Right? So here, it is very important for an organization to have an effective organizational structure who is responsible for notifying the authority, responsibility and accountability in a formal organization. It is significant to note that organization structure is directly related to the attainment of organizational objectives. Right? So, for attainment of organizational goals and objectives, there must be effective organizational structure, and this organizational structure have a significant role. Right? It has a very important role, right, for achievement of organizational goals and objectives in the organization. A good organizational structure should not be strategic, but dynamic and should be subjected to change from time to time in light of the changes in the business environment. So here, an effective organizational structure should be flexible, should be changeable and moldable according to the environment of the business. According to the internal environment and according to the external environment, there must be changes. The organizational structure can be moldable in nature, right? So that they may be balanced. The organization can have a balance between the internal and external factors of the business for effective survival in the competitive market. Right. So the organization structure, the basic organizational structure should not only be strategic but also dynamic in nature, which means it is flexible. It should be organizational structure should be flexible in nature. Coming towards the types. There are basic two types of organizational structure. The first type of organizational structure is said to be basic structure, which is related to delegation of work or division of work in a formal organization. It involves issues as how the work of the organization will be divided and assigned among positions, groups, department, division and so on, and how coordination necessary to achieve the organizational objective. Right. So here, according to basic structure in a formal organization, for achievement of organizational goals and objectives, there must be proper division of work. Right. According to the position, groups, department, division and so on. There must be proper coordination, and if there will be proper delegation or division of work in the formal organization, there will be proper coordination. Automatically there will be coordination, and if there is coordination in the organization, all will work in an effective manner. It will create a positive factor and the organization can achieve the organizational goals and objectives. Right. So this is all about basic structure of organizational structure, which is said to be the first type of organizational structure. Coming towards the second type of organizational structure, operating mechanism. Operating mechanism is related to the working of the organization. Right? That how the employees, how our people in the formal organization must work on. What are the do's and don'ts. Right? So it includes such factor as information system, control procedure, rules and regulation, system of reward and punishment and so on. Right. So Operating mechanism is related to factors of information system, information about the organization, information about the do's and don'ts, information about the roles and responsibilities of the employees in the formal organization, right? The control procedure, the rules and regulations of the organization, the reward for performing the duties and more effectively, and the punishment for violation of the rules and regulation in the formal organization. So all these things has to be well determined and well justified, right? So there must be a very flexible and very efficient organizational structure in a formal organization for achievement of organizational goals and objectives in the right way, right? So coming towards the various principles of organization. The first principle of organization is principle of objective. There must be well-defined and well-determined objective of the organization for which the organizational structure has been prepared for achievement of organizational objective. Right. So there must be, the all employees, the people who are working in the organization at any level, maybe the supervisory level or subordinate level, all must be familiar with its goals and objectives. All employees, all people will have to work together for achievement of the familiar objective. Right. Second principle is principle of division of work. Division of work is related to assigning of work and responsibilities to the employees in the formal organization. The total task should be divided in such a manner that there must be no burden to anybody, right? Then all work has to be divided in a systematic manner in a formal organization. That is principle of division of work. Principle of unity of command. There must be a single boss for a single subordinate, right? So that there should be unity of command. Unity of command about what to do in the organization and what the employee has to perform in an organization, right? There must be unity of command. Next principle is principle of span of control. A span of control is related to limits of employees or limits of subordinates to a supervisor. It means there must be limited number of subordinates under the single supervisor, right? So that the supervisor can manage the subordinate and manage the working day-to-day performance of the employees, his subordinates in the formal organization, right? So there must be some limit of employees, the limit of subordinate under one supervisor. Next principle, principle of scalar chain. Authority and responsibility should be in clear line, right? There should be proper chain of command. According to scalar chain, there must be proper chain of command. We have already discussed scalar chain in the previous lectures in the levels of management, top level, middle level and low level. There must be proper followance of scalar chain, that the low level management first have to communicate with middle level management, and then middle level management will communicate to top level management, right? So they have to follow a formal chain of command, right? So there must be principle of scalar chain. Next principle is principle of delegation. There must be proper delegation of work in the organization, right? So that coordination and decision making can take place in a right manner, right? So authority, there must be delegation of authority, responsibility and accountability towards the employees who are working for the organization, right? Next principle, principle of absoluteness of responsibility. It means there should no employee should give any excuses for completion of the task, right? So there must be proper well-defined objective, well-defined goals, and there must be, all the employees who are working for the organization should work in the right manner, and there should be proper delegation and proper responsibility and accountability of the employees in such a manner that there is no sense of excusesness, right? The employee who is working for the organization for a particular task should not give any excuses, and he is responsible and accountable for the task he has to perform in the organization. Next principle of parity of authority and responsibility. It is related to distribution of authority and responsibility in the formal organization to the people working for the organization. Both authority and responsibility must be coexistent, right? So the employees who are working in the organization, maybe at supervisory level or subordinate level, have to make a balance between the authority and responsibility. And if the management has to take the work with the employees, if the manager has to take the work with the subordinate, then there must be proper delegation of authority, responsibility, and that employee must be accountable of doing the particular work in the organization by providing these authorities and by providing the responsibility by the manager, right? Next principle is principle of coordination. Coordination is related to proper arrangement of all the factors of production. The factors of production are 5M: manpower, material, method, money, and machinery. The human and non-human factors. And according to principle of coordination, all the human and non-human factors should be placed in the right way, have to use and utilize in the right way, and there must be coordination between the manpower in the formal organization so that the manpower can use and utilize the non-human resources in an effective way so that the production can be done at high rate. Next principle of flexibility. The formal organization should have the principle of flexibility, right? So a good organization is not a straitjacket, right? It's not a straitjacket. It means the good organization must be flexible in making decisions and in working in the day-to-day activities in the formal organization, right? So there must be flexibility in the organization at every level. Principle of efficiency, right? So it is related to accomplishment of organizational objectives and goals in minimum cost, right? So there must be efficiency in the employees. The employees must be efficient of performing the work in right manner in the organization as per the expectation of the management and as per the expectation of his supervisors. Next and the last principle is principle of continuity. So the organization should be structured as to have a continuous of operations, right? So business is a continuous activity, and the work performed in business should also be on continuous basis. The employees who are working in the organization should work on for a long run, right? So these all are the various principles of organizational structure which has to be followed by an effective manager, and there must be an efficient and effective and very flexible type of organizational structure in the formal organization so that every employee must know their roles and responsibilities in the organization, and the organization can effectively move on in competitive market, and it helps the organization for achievement of organizational goals and organizational objectives for long run. Coming towards the diagram of our organizational structure, here you can see a diagram. It is organizational structure of an industrial enterprise, in which here you can see a authority general manager. General manager is a single authority at top level. Under general manager, there are three categorization. I have shown a three categorization: production manager, finance manager, and marketing manager. So General manager comes under top level management, and these are subdivision. We have already discussed a lecture on system and subsystem, in which I have explained the complete business as a system, and the various branches, the various departments in that business are known as subsystem. Right. So here we can see the three subsystems: the production manager, the finance manager, and the marketing manager, who is responsible for their particular department. Right. So we are trying to explain here the organizational structure of industrial enterprise. Right. In which the production, finance, and marketing plays a major role. So coming toward the production manager, in production manager there are three subordinates: plant superintendent, purchase officer, and stores officer. Plant superintendent is related to taking the work with the workers at the factory, at the workplace, right? And under plant superintendent, there are foremen who supervise, who look after the work. There are many foremen, one or two, and these foremen will overlook the functioning of the workers at workplace, right? And purchase officer is related of purchasing of raw material from the market, from the supplier, right? And stores officer is responsible for maintaining the stores in the organization, right? Coming towards the next subsystem, that is finance manager, finance department, which is related to liquidity, the financial matters of the organization, right? Under finance manager, there are two subordinates: accounts officer and audit officer. Audit officer is related to maintaining the records of the financial records of the organization, and accounts officer is related to providing the funds in the organization, right? Under accounts officer, there are various subdivisions, various persons who are involved and who are working as subordinates of accounts officer. They are head clerk and chief cashier, right? They are chief cashier is related and supervisor of a cashier, who is responsible for providing salaries and providing of funds internally and departmentally, right? And head clerk is the supervisor of the various clerks in the organization, right? Now coming towards the third subsystem, that is marketing department. Marketing manager is the head of marketing department, and under marketing department there are two subordinates of marketing manager: sales officer and promotion officer, sales promotion officer, right? Sales promotion officer is related to making promotion of the sales, related to the techniques of advertisement, the strategies that should be adopted for promotion of the product and services in the market, right? That is all related work of sales promotion officer. Whereas sales officer is related to sales supervisor and sales supervisor 2, right? And sales supervisor are the managers or supervisor of the salesperson. Salesperson are the executive who promotes and who sell off our products and services in the market, right? So here we are trying to explain the diagram of organizational structure in a formal organization, that how the working of the organization at various system and subsystem will go on smoothly basis, so that the organization can achieve the organizational goals and organizational objective. Right. So this is all about organizational structure. Hope you have understood this lecture. For more related videos, do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks you for watching my lecture. Have a nice day.